Recording.
Smile.
Okay, bonus podcast number 2, and I am actually got a camera on myself, and I am going to show you what we look like because several of you have said you still have a problem with which voice goes with which name. So this time you're not just going to get the names; you're also going to get the faces.
Can I just
That's
say,
Lee.
right? I was about to have a haircut today and didn't get around to having one. So
Right, well.
if I look like an old tramp, then sorry.
Nobody cares. Simon, hello.
Hello, I did have a haircut today. I don't want talking to the mic.
Yeah, you've got to talk into the mic as well because this is going in as a bonus podcast, but I'm also going to slip in the video for those people who've got the right file readers to access it.
Slip in the video.
Yeah.
Slip in the video. Wow.
And that's Mark.
Hello. I've got no hair, so I don't have to worry about having a bad hair day.
But he does have to worry about having his hair cut.
Well, no, not really.
Okay. We were going to say what other programmes we liked growing up.
Ooh.
What other programmes as well as
we?
Doctor Who. Yeah, we did get a couple of emails on this subject, so shall I do those emails first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to film you while you
Right.
read them?
Okay, you can do that if you like. Jenny, Blue Box 99. I really enjoyed Sapphire and Steel
Love it.
Yeah.
and the Adventure Game
I'm
when
not
I
sure
was
until I
growing up.
understood Sapphire and Steel, but it was good.
I don't think the people who wrote Sapphire and Steel understood it, so it was fair enough for the audience to
Yeah.
struggle.
Did you say the adventure game?
Yeah, the Adventure
Yeah,
I
that was awesome.
adored that.
Yeah, it was great.
Game.
Dookie Rev.
Gronda Rango.
Ah, get you.
When I throw the camera your way, can you talk?
Yeah, I do clam up.
There we go.
There we go.
Jenny carries on. I think Sapphire and Steel hasn't aged a bit. I recently bought the collection of assignments for all the series that were made. If only there was a possibility of a remake, I reckon it would attract a lot of attention as it has similar themes to Doctor Who. In fact, Doctor Who does occasionally cover the same
This
ground.
whole series of Sapphire and Steel on Daily Motion online.
Is it?
Yeah. I watched the whole of the first series in about half an hour.
Well,
I skip through it.
Jenny even says there were even faceless people, a crack in the wall, etc. The Adventure Game would be great now too. Imagine what special
Yes.
effects they could use now to show the losers walking home on a cold night from Arg back to Earth.
You can stick Joe Wiley in the vortex.
Was the Adventure Game commercial TV, ITV?
No, it's
No,
BBC.
no, BBC
Was
Two.
it? I really
Yeah.
don't remember it.
BBC
Used to have
Two
people like John
about,
Craven on it
6
and-
o'clock. Yeah, Keith Chegwin went
Yeah.
through the vortex quite a few
Yeah.
times.
Oh, hang on.
And
Walking
they
Home.
had an Argolan,
Yeah.
didn't
That
they?
does actually strike a
Yeah.
bell. It was great that everything on the planet Arg was based on the word dragon. I can't remember exactly, but I think the currency was the Dargon, which
Yeah.
were coloured plastic
It's
shapes.
Drogna, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Drogma.
Drogna.
Yeah,
Drogna.
Drogna.
Drachma.
It would be fun seeing today's celebrities play the Vortex.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there'd be loads of Z-list celebrities who'd be desperate to get on TV and do anything really, wouldn't they? So
Wasn't it the Args were called Argolans? Is that right? Just like the Leisure Eye. And weren't they didn't they use the same outfits as well?
Caught a glimpse. Let me take the camera because I've just caught a glimpse of how Lee's face is just looking. Let's do a. That's better. See,
Okay, Suki Kark, or Suki Kark.
Sucky.
Sucky Kark.
I am a complete telly addict. Actually, there's a great email from Suki that's going to be in one of the other shows. We've just finished doing the JNT show, and it came in. You'll be pleased to know, Steve from Manchester. It came in at 1 hour and 20 minutes, and we didn't discover how long it was until after we'd finished recording, and we looked. Suki, I am a complete telly addict. I watch new shows from America, and the next one we're doing is the Mary Tam episode on the Key to Time. I watch new shows from America, including shows that I know are about to be cancelled, but growing up, I'd watch Grange Hill,
Yeah.
Blue Peter,
yeah.
News Round,
Yes, John Craven.
Rent a Ghost,
Yes.
Timothy Claypole.
Dick Turpin.
Oh, that's quite good.
I don't remember Dick Turpin.
Yeah,
it
that
was
was,
Richard Sullivan.
Sullivan, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
From Robin's
Oh,
Nest.
yes, it
Yeah,
was. I
yeah.
remember now. Wurzel Gummidge.
Excellent. Had
That-
to guess. You had to guess at the end which way he'd fall over, and that was one of the games that we always played. In our
Oh,
family.
really?
Backwards, sideways.
And on Rent a
You
Ghost,
won,
you
you
had
won
the
a
War
suit.
Chief as well, didn't you, from War Games?
What was that?
That's Mr. Mika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
The
In
War
the War
Chief
Ga-
from
yeah.
War Games.
Yeah, that's Mr. Mika.
Yeah, indeed.
Dad's Army, says
Yeah,
Suki,
yeah.
which I'm still Sky Plusing these days, even though I've got the box set.
Can't beat that. It's brilliant.
It ain't half hot, Mum.
Yep.
So good.
Yep.
My parents' favourite show because it had Indian actors on it.
Okay.
Pretty rare
quite
back then,
odd,
wasn't
really,
it?
actually.
Yeah, and yet in the leading Indian role was an English guy, wasn't he? With
Wasn't it?
makeup.
Yeah.
Can't remember his
I've
name.
not seen that for years. The Goodies,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
fantastic.
I'm so keen on them.
and a lot of comedy and action adventure series. If I could have entered Teleaddicts instead of Telestack, he talks about being in a program called Telestack on the email that we're going to read out at the start of the next show on Mary Tam, I would have won. Unfortunately, you had to enter with a family, and my family were not Teleaddicts, says Sugi. Right, that's the emails on. Mark, when you were growing up, outside of Doctor Who, what else did you watch?
Well, you had Blake Seven.
Yes.
That was a pretty big show at the time. Trying to think of other stuff I used to watch a lot.
I'll try and get an angle where I can see your mouth.
Stop talking about the
All I can-
camera.
all I can see-
People would just be listening to this.
Yeah, all the usual suspects. Grange Hill, I think, was another sort of. That was must-watch telly, wasn't it, for its time? Well, for my generation, anyway.
Go on.
You had all the sort of US imports. I never really got into Buck Rogers. I kind of watched the first few and never
Did
really
you watch
liked
Battlestar Galactica?
Not with any great passion.
They didn't really
I
show
didn't.
it down the southwest.
I didn't watch any of those either. I saw odd episodes of.
I remember
things
liking
that,
stuff
but
like Knight Rider and those sorts of things, and that kind of coincided with.
I
the
just
sort of
didn't get
decline
into
of
the
Doctor Who.
American stuff. They took a lot of. They seemed to take a lot of the acting really seriously, even though the stories didn't support it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Was it Glenn A. Larson that did a lot of those
Yeah,
things? So Battlestar
yeah.
Galactica was okay for the first season, then got rather dull and turned into soap opera. Automan, I quite liked. That was
Oh, I
quite
remember
fun.
that, yeah.
You know, all the right angles and people
Yeah.
going against the window.
It's like Street Hawk, where I used to drive at 300 miles an hour.
Hawk.
Do right angle turns.
Do you remember he used to do like a cyclone thing where he'd go up in the air?
Point the camera at yourself
I don't
when you
remember
say that.
Airwolf was. I can't remember liking Airwolf.
Yeah,
And the theme tunes as
and I
well.
was-
The
I
80s
quite
theme
like-
tunes were pretty cool.
Quite like the A-Team as well. Those were the American imports, but there was
Yeah.
also stuff on TV, BBC,
British stuff.
like Chucky, which I absolutely adored when I was a kid, that sort of thing. And there was an interesting one-off. There was a few one-off science fiction.
Do you remember Children of the Stones then?
I love Children of the Stones.
I didn't see that when it was on. I had to catch that on
Wow,
DVD
that
years
was
later.
Nightmarish. The beginning of that, hobble, 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 whee! It was just, slightly freaky. You can see where Mark Gatiss gets his ideas from.
Hello, Simon. Hello. Do you know what? When I was growing up, the one thing, I don't know whether this was something to do with my dad's tastes or what, but and I'm sure it was a Thursday night on BBC Two, they'd have like what was, in the sort of 1970s, their version of alternative comedy. And it was things like Spike Milligan
Yeah.
yes.
and Monty Python.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And for some obscure reason, I watched all of these first time around rather than on repeats. I was allowed by my dad, even at the age of
Yeah.
7, to
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
up
no,
to like
I did.
9:30 on a...
Monty Python and the other
Q9
ones.
and
Yeah.
I was that sort of age. It would have been what, sort of 10, 11. You would be allowed to stay up and watch that sort of stuff.
I don't think in
Benny
a...
Hill. It was
Yeah.
Benny Hill that I was allowed to stay up and watch. I got really embarrassed as a kid watching Benny Hill because there were so many half-naked women around. It was
But you kept watching though.
I did keep watching.
a bit like Kenny Everett, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Kenny Everett.
Yeah,
Kenny Everett.
He did
That was on quite early in the evening, wasn't it? About 7 o'clock.
and he also did a science fiction thing in the middle, didn't he?
Yeah, Captain Kremen.
That's it.
Oh, and do you remember the worm that turned in...
Yes.
Two
the
Ronnies.
Two Ronnies.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like a sort of a Man in the High Castle alternative timeline
That-
sort of a story.
Basically Inferno. 2-1-2 Inferno.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And being a kid in the sort of 70s stroke 80s, the Muppets was a huge thing for me as a kid.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My
Yeah.
absolute favourite other programme outside of Doctor Who, though, apart from Inspector Morse, I'm a massive Inspector Morse fan, which will probably surprise a lot of people, but was Survivors. Did anybody? I suppose you're all just slightly too young to have seen Survivors
I was
the first
too
time
young
out.
to watch Survivors, but I did see its sister one-off, Threads, which
Oh,
scared
yeah,
me
that's
so
a bit-
much as a child. That was it. I had nightmares
Yeah, I
about
can watch
nuclear
that.
warfare
Yeah,
for the rest of my
definitely
life,
watch that.
actually. Horrible.
Threads was obviously in Sheffield, my hometown, so like my
Yeah.
mum was like, "Oh, there's going to be a drama set in Sheffield," and then we sat down and watched
Yeah.
Threads, and I don't think
Fun
she was
for all
quite so
family,
happy
yeah.
afterwards.
I remember thinking that if this was true and was Sheffield, I was far enough away to be alright. I wasn't worried about Sheffield at all. Sorry.
Well,
Human League would have gone.
only if they're at home and not on tour at the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Did you say Def Leppard?
Yeah, Def Leppard was a Sheffield band.
Sheffield,
Yeah.
They did, yeah. Pyromania was one of their...
Do you remember Heaven 17 on their album cover? It said, what was it, Sheffield, New York, Lisbon or something? No, what was it? It was something.
I remember the name of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, music.
Good
notes
album.
coming up.
Right, we ought to get on with our Merry Town
Yes.
podcast, really. So,
Yeah, we'll do that.
so we'll bid you good night, and we'll try and drop another one of these in a couple of weeks. And if you want to write and tell us what your childhood programmes and whatnot were, just email us, and we'll perhaps bring it all up at the start of the next bonus podcast.
Yeah, maybe we should go a bit younger. Clangers. Bagpuss.
See,
Flumps.
I can enthuse about. I've got all those on DVD.
Have you?
Yeah. I watched some Marine.
Oh yeah, me
Some
too. Yeah.
Marine Boy.
Marine Boy?
I haven't got Marine Boy.
Did he take a pill to go underneath the water and breathe
Yeah,
underwater?
chewing gum.
Chewing gum.
Oxygum.
Which is actually, isn't that... No, Oxyten, isn't it?
It's like spot cream.
Guys,
That bombshell.
yeah, time for Merry Town, I think.